dear students of grade 11 Business and Accounting Studies class of St. Peter's College, Colombo 4 Nigambu branch. Today I'll be doing the question which was published in the school website regarding the preparation of financial statements. As we have done the activity 10 in the previous video, I think now you are thorough with preparation of financial statements. So let's move on to the question which I have given you in the school website. So this business is of Mohammed, and once you get the question like this, as I told you previously, first you have to read the requirement. So in this question there are several requirements. It asks you to list out the income and expenses separately, calculate the cost of goods sold, identify the expenditure under the following sections. They want you to categorize the expenses into distribution expenses, administration and financial expenses. Prepare the trial balance, prepare the profit or loss statement, and write the journal entry for posting the gross profit to the capital account. So likewise there are several requirements. So I am not going to do all the requirements now, but I will focus on preparing the trading profit or loss statement with you. So to prepare that, you are given the trial balance, and at the bottom of the trial balance it says all the stocks has been sold off at the end of the year, so we don't have any closing stock. So then in this particular question, you are not asked to prepare the statement of financial position. So only the income and expenses figures will be relevant in answering this question. So therefore, it's better once we read through the trial balance, we will tick off whatever the income and expenditure figures which will go to the profit or loss statement. So first we have the cash balance. It's an asset which will not come under the profit or loss statement. Then the bank balance, again an asset which will not come. Petty cash again goes to the statement of financial position, so it's not relevant for us. Then we have buildings, again a non-current assets, so it's not relevant for us to prepare the profit or loss statement. Then we have the opening stock, so this line item is relevant. Then we have purchases, again it's relevant. Then again bank loan, which is a non-current liability, again will go to the statement of financial position. Then we have sales, which should consider. Debtors, creditors, no, it will go to the statement of financial position. Then we have discounts allowed, distribution expenses, discounts received, other income, wages and salary, administration expense, furniture, non-current asset which will not relevant for us, insurance, administration expense, transportation, distribution expense, electricity, administration expense, other income, stationery, administration expense, bank charges, again finance expense, building repairing, administration expense, motor vehicle, which is a non-current asset, so therefore it's not relevant for us to prepare the profit or loss statement. Then capital, again no, it will go to the statement of financial position. Then advertising, a distribution expense, and the bank loan interest, again a finance expense. So these ticked line items will only be relevant for us to prepare the profit or loss statement. So based on that, what do we have to do next? Once we read the trial balance, read the question, read all the information, and while having read the requirement, we will straight away go to the format. So we'll set up the format first, and then again come to the information given in the question and start filling the format. Okay, while reading the question, it's better that we could mark the line items which will come under the profit or loss statement. So therefore, I think we have already done that. We have marked the line items which will come to the profit or loss statements, that are income and expenditure figures. None of the assets, liabilities or equity items will not be relevant for us in doing the requirement of this given question. So I'll be straightforward, go into the profit or loss statement rather than preparing the income and expenses separately. So in order to do the profit or loss statement, what do we have to do first? First we have to set up the formats ready. So I have already set up my format. At the top I have mentioned the name of the business, the name of the statement, and as at what period I am preparing the statement. So then it's profit or loss statement. So you know, usually there are certain line items come into this profit or loss statement. So we can put those line items well in advance before we go to the figures. So first we have the sales figure coming in on top of the profit or loss statement. So I have put the name of the line item. Then there are the cost of sales. In calculating the cost of sales, we will be having the opening stock, then purchases and any of the purchases related expenses if there are. Then we can calculate the cost of goods to be sold. I have marked that also. Then from that we have to deduct the closing stocks, and then the cost of sales figure can be arrived at. By deducting the cost of sales from the sales figure, we can have the gross profit figure. So I have marked everything well in advance. So thereafter, we should mention the other income figures, then the expenses to be deducted from that. Finally, we have the net profit figure for the period. So now our format is ready. So then let's go into the trial balance, and while reading that we will concentrate only on the line items which we have already ticked, because those are the only relevant line items. So our first line item which we have ticked is the stocks as at 1st of January 2015. So here it's 2015, and the figure is the opening stock which will come under the calculation of cost of sales. So we have the opening stocks, it's 4,000. So I'll put that figure in the second column. Then the next tick line item is purchases, again come soon after the opening stocks, it's 30,000. Then we'll check the next tick line item which is sales, and that is 55,000. So we go to the sales line item and put it as 55,000. Then next we have the tick line item as discounts allowed, which is an other income, which is sales related expense, discounts allowed. That will come under distribution expenses. So we have a space to put to mention the distribution expenses. So I'll go to that particular section and put it as discounts allowed. And that is 2,000. So I'll put 2,000 in the first column. Then we have the discounts received. Again a tick line item which is an other income. So soon after gross profit we have a section to put other income, and I'll go to that section and put discounts received. That is 4,000. Then we have wages and salary. That is usually an administration expenses unless otherwise mentioned. So I'll go to the administration expenses section and mention wages and salaries. Which is 5,500. Then again we have ticked the insurance expenses, again and administration expenses. It's 1,200. Then we have transportation. Usually transportation we will take into distribution expenses. That is 800. Then we have electricity, again goes under administration expenses. Then we have other income. Let's go to the other income section, and it's not specified. It's 1,500. Then we have stationery, again goes under administration expenses. $500. Then we have bank charges, which will go under the finance expenses. So let's go to the finance expenses section. Bank charges 900. Then we have another expense, again building repair, usually goes under the administration expenses category. So let's put it under that. Building repair 2,000. Then let's check what is the next line item we have ticked. It's advertising, one before the last one. Advertising is coming under distribution expenses. So let's go to that section. Advertising 1,000. Then finally we have the bank loan interest that will go under finance expenses. That is 500. And soon after the trial balance, it says our stocks has been sold now. So we don't have closing stocks here. So we have put whatever the ticked line items or as part of the income, all income and expenses figures for the profit or loss statement. Now we have to do the additions and subtractions. So here we have the opening stocks purchases, no any other purchases related expenses. So we will have cost of goods to be sold as 34,000, and we don't have any closing stocks here. So we have the cost of sales as 34,000. We'll deduct that from the sales figure, and we will have the gross profit as 21,000. So let's go to the other income section. Total of 5,500 of other income is there. So we will add that other income to the gross profit. So we will have 26,500. Then let's go to the distribution expenses and total that 3,800. Then let's go to the administration expenses, a total of 10,200 is there. Then let's go to the finance expenses section. We have 1,400 of finance expenses. Then we'll add all the expense categories together. We have 3,800 of distribution expenses, administration expenses of 10,200 plus finance expenses of 1,400. Altogether we have 15,400 of total expenses. So we will deduct that from the total of gross profit and the other income, which is 26,500. We will end up having 11,100 of a net profit, which will be transferred to the owner's capital account. So this is the profit or loss statement for Mohammed's business, and in the question, which we have not done separately, the first few sections, it asks you to list down the income and expenses separately. So all the income and expenses figures are there in the profit or loss statement. So you have to segregate income and expenses separately. So as you know, from this section onwards, you have all the expenses, right? Plus from the top part, purchases will be an expense, opening stock will take again as an expense. So these items has been identified as expenses. Then the income figures, for income you have to take sales, and from the other income, discounts received and other income will be taken as income figures. Then it asks you to calculate separately the cost of goods sold, which we have already done. So this will be the cost of goods sold. Then it asks you to classify the expenses separately, which we have already done. So when you are answering the question, you can segregate the expenses into different categories and mention the relevant figures. So that is the answer for the question. So I think you are clear now. So if you have time, practice this question again and be thorough with the format and how to put the figures into the format. So thank you very much and God bless you.